Salutations, friends. Tristan Jacoba coming at you with Fu Manchu's King of the Road album review. This album was recorded in 1999 in Palm Desert, California, and was subsequently released in the year 2000 after Y2K. This album is basically a concept album, the concept being fast muscle cars. This works out because I feel like jumping into a fast muscle car going 100 miles an hour when I'm listening to this music. I would probably get about 3.5 speeding tickets. The half being the fact that while the cop is writing me the ticket, I just take off in a blaze of glory, and Fu Manchu takes me into another dimension as I flee the cop. This album basically begs to be played loudly because of how heavy the guitar riffs are and how loud and punchy the drums are. I'm a fan of Fu Manchu because their sound has no defining decade that you could say their music is from. Their most famous stuff came out from the late 90s to the early 2000s, but after listening to it, you probably couldn't pinpoint which decade that came from or what year even, because of the fact that their sound is just so unique, and they basically use fuzzy guitar tones on everything and punchy drums and the same vocal melodies reused over and over again. But there are no elements of the music like gated reverb on the snare drums and crazy mid-scooped guitar solos and things like that. If somebody told me that their album just dropped a week ago, I would totally believe them. The opening song starts out with a crazy fuzzy guitar riff as usual and kind of fades in. Kind of sounds like a car is driving around the bend towards you and then all of a sudden explodes into some glorious riffage. I'm a fan of ᴍᴜᴜ who produced this album because he has this incredible ability to retain low-mid clarity without muddying up the mix and making it sound too overblown or too thick. It sounds just right in my opinion, and it has a lot of the punchy clarity of the low mids that the guitars require to punch through the mix and just give the album that beefy tonality. I also enjoy the heavily compressed drum sounds, as ᴍᴜᴜ was able to get the cymbals to blend really well with the snare, the punchy snare, and the punchy kick drum. Their use of fuzzy guitars, wah-wah pedals, simple vocal melodies, and simple drums just dominate the entire album. I basically want to headbang throughout the whole album, especially with Blue Tile Fever's use of cowbell, because I'm a sucker for cowbell, I guess. The lyrical content is pretty basic in this album. It mainly focuses around cars, as the rest of the concept album does. The vocal melodies are equally just as basic, except for the final track, Freedom of Choice, which is essentially the only song with any sort of lyrical substance on the album because Devo wrote it, and Fu Manchu covered it. Some of the standout tracks that I dug off this album would be Weird Beard, because of the odd vocal sections that comes in on this track, where he goes, Weird Beard. I think it's pretty funny, and I also appreciate the low-gain guitar solos that they are doing. So normally when artists record guitars and there's a solo, they usually kick on a boost pedal or add some more gain on the amp to bring the guitar to that next level of epicness. But in this track, they decided to do the opposite and turn the gain knob down so that there's less distortion coming from the guitar. It's more of a clean tone. Very interesting choice, and I actually kind of dig it. Boogie Van's use of the stereo image is pretty cool when they hard pan the guitar solos, when you hear one of them in one speaker and then the other one in the other. It's very unique, and I enjoyed it very much throughout this song. The dirty slide guitar licks were also a welcome choice throughout this track as well. Blue Tile Fever is another track that stuck out to me because of the use of the cowbell. It's very infectious, especially in that song, and every time it comes in, you just want to bop your head up and down, because it's just so infectious. And I'm also a sucker for cowbell. I see the only problem with this album being the fact that the lyrics are very lacking any sort of content, and the vocal melodies are also pretty dang bland. It's usually the same little melody over and over again. That's the only reason why I would give it any sort of low score, but other than that, the sounds of it just are so awesome. And I really dig this album a lot. Overall, if you like heavy guitar, fast riffs, and punchy drum-driven music, then this is the album for you. I've heard Fu Manchu classified as stoner rock, but in my opinion, their music is just too fast for stoners to even comprehend what the heck is going on throughout the album anyways. I definitely recommend you take a listen to this whole album, as I enjoyed every single track on this album. Let me know what you thought of my review in the comment section below. Overall, I would give this whole album a solid 8 out of 10. Mostly because of the epic instrumental tones that you get from this album. Unfortunately, most of it sounds very similar, but it's just so cool to just pop that CD in your car and just listen to it for like a nice drive or something, as you're speeding down the highway at 100 miles an hour to Las Vegas or something, somewhere in the desert maybe. Give a like if you enjoyed the video. Give a dislike if you didn't. Let me know what you think in the comment section. And let me know what album I should listen to next and review. Because I enjoy listening to new music, especially from other people that I don't know. I have the whole internet at my disposal to let me know what kind of music I should listen to next. Thank you very much for watching. I've been Tristan ʀᴏᴜᴍ. You've been amazing. I'll catch you in the next one. Farewell, friends.